Can you hear any better now, or does it work at all? Huh? Nothing. Okay. My mic working at all, guys? I've tried to put on the little headsets. How's it, Orbot? How are you keeping? Hopefully better than me. Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it, man. So I don't know what's wrong with that, Mike, but obviously that's not money well spent, and I'm going to have to spend the next week looking online for a microphone again. Like I still need to get a ring light and goodness knows what else, etc., etc. Sorry about all the hassles, guys. Let me just get everything back plugged in because I've pulled out practically everything I possibly could to get that mic working. And it didn't. And last year, last week, this time, I was dead in bed. I was dead in bed. So why, I don't know. I got cold. Started getting cold. For the first time in 5 years, I got cold because all of a sudden we suddenly had winter. We have winter now. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting in a t-shirt and looking rather frivolously moi. But if I tip just a little bit back there, just over there, you will see a nice little aircon grid of a good 23, 24 degrees airs coming out over there. So, yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, I am better. Thanks. No, thanks, Cam. I'm pleased I'm better as well because I was literally ready to call time of death last week, and I was still considering doing the stream. And then when Buzzy said, "Are you doing the stream?" I said, "No, just not going to happen." I was at school in sweats and fevers and goodness knows what on the Friday. I could hardly remember what happened the Friday. Never mind actually get anything done. Yeah, Cameron, you are at 40 degrees now. Yeah, I remember those good, wonderful days. What am I? I think I'm sitting at 13 degrees here now at the moment. Nice, 13 degrees. And then I'm high up, so it's got a chill factor as well. You're right there, Dylan. No rest for the wicked. No peace for the wicked at all. And I don't know what I did in a previous life to deserve this. But yeah, in general, so how things going out there? I see the voter registrations happening this weekend there for South Africans, and for fear of sounding like a politician, guys, go out and get your mark pulled. Get yourself registered so that you can actually vote. A vote that isn't made is made in favor of the ANC. I tell you that now. I tell you that with all the kindness and goodness in my heart. If you don't vote, you're voting for the ANC. Suppose you say we're all over the place with temperatures. Yeah, still have flu. Geez, I'm still getting rid of the cough of my flu, but yesterday was I ill. Ina was a little ill as well, but I don't think she hit the fever business like I did. Last weekend I was in bed, something like I should be around about now as well, because it actually gets you guys have got like a 2 o'clock in the afternoon business there. It's like 8 o'clock at night over here. So yes, it's okay. I I'm still getting used to being in a new place. First of all, I'm somebody who doesn't change easily. My mom is visiting her brother in Cape Town. Oh, that's fantastic! I have an uncle in Cape Town as well. I love Cape Town. It wasn't so long ago that you were there, Cam. Love Cape Town. Love Cape Town. Wonderful, wonderful place. Honestly, I think with all the nonsense that South Africa has, if I could at least have just been able to get a good job there, I would go back. I think I could even do with load shedding. You just get tired of not knowing where that next plate of food's coming from. Dylan's still in Cape Town. Oh man, he's in the good place. He's in the good place. Wasn't there a TV program called The Good Place? Yeah, The Good Place. Very much so. Buzzy, I can't stop coughing myself. I don't know why I'm vaping away because last weekend I couldn't, so I'm trying to make up for last weekend as such. But yeah, but yes, as I said, you guys are up for. So I do hope you have registered or are registering or have been to register or found some registration unit that doesn't have feces running around it all over the place because the ANC hasn't fixed up any of the uh, plumbing areas around there, etc., etc. Although they should be promising to fix it around about now, because I think they're already starting to campaign for next year. Very, very interested to see what happens next year. Not that I'm worried about the outcome. We all kind of know what the outcome's going to be, but I just want to know how you're going to corrupt it into getting that outcome. This online registration and voting thing. I don't know. No, Cape Town without the sea is Ape Town. Nick. That's a good one to pull in, yeah. Funnily enough, it works the same in Afrikaans. Sonder die K as dit Aapstad. Okay, nie die C nie. Okay. But yeah. No, otherwise I'm still settling in. We should stop smoking vaping. I'm down to 10 a day. We're smoking 20 per day. I only smoke one vape a day still. 10 a day is good, Buzz. 10 a day is good. I remember when we were allowed to smoke in offices and in shops and things like that when I first started working. In my office in the back of a retail store, I used to go in with 2 packs of cigarettes and walk out and crush the last pack as I walked out. Then I'd polish 2 packs of cigarettes for the day. It was amazing. So the sales guys on the floor used to be able to light a cigarette on the floor. Yeah. The reason I vape is because I'm not prepared to give up smoking yet. Smoking something that's up here. I've always said, you can put 1,050,000 patches on you. You can take all the tablets you want in the world. You can chew all the gum until you've got flippin' ulcers all over your mouth. You can do whatever you want to. You will not give up smoking until you've decided it up here. And right now up here, I have not decided to give up smoking yet. Only reason I've given it up for vaping is because vaping is a little bit cleaner. You don't smell like the burning bush by the time you finish your pack of smokes for the day. I don't cough up half a lung in the morning, and it's also easier to smoke inside when you're having a vape. You don't have to go running outside all the time, which I didn't do when I was smoking. So yeah, I did that. What's ashtrays in the spa in this? Oh, Exactly, Arbot. That's what we had. I worked, well, everybody know Incredible Connection. Yeah, smoking in your hospital bed. Remember the airlines? You could smoke on the airplane, like the front half was smoking and the back half was non-smoking type of thing. But yeah, we had in the aisles in our stores, in the store, there were those big long bin ashtrays. The guys used to sit at the back, and then if a customer wanted a quote, they'd go and sit there in front of them, in front of their computers, and they'd both light up a smoke and have a cigarette while they were busy giving the customer a quote. It's amazing the way the world has gone these days. And I don't think any less people are dying at the moment. Just a thought. Okay, that's what I call leverage, Buzz. Yeah, no, definitely. That would change my mind a little as well. I when health hits that bad, but I don't know. As I say, I've seen so many people go onto the healthy broke. I've been smoking since '87. What's stopping gonna benefit me now? Oh my God, that this is my query. I've been smoking around about since then myself, and I always look at everyone that's gone into this health mode. Now, Buzz, I do understand if it's going to affect your health very adversely at the moment now, and there's a reason to stop, then by all means, chuck the handbrake on and swing the wheel to the left. But I've just seen everyone like suddenly start going healthy. They start eating greens. They start eating lean. They stop eating this. Next thing they're jogging and they're gymming and they're exercising and the whole toots. And next thing we've got to send flowers. Me, I've done very, very little of anything. And I've yet to have a heart murmur. My biggest fear is having to live old to get old. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if I can't work. I have no house to stay. I have no place to stay. I have no family who's going to look after me. I'm literally going to end up on the streets if I stop working. That's it. Pretty scary thought that is. Where am I going to get smokes from then? You know, then I'll have to go back to South Africa because South Africa is only the only lucrative spot that I'd be able to go and find a traffic light to stand at with a sign and hopefully make a few cents every day or something like that. Yeah, no, Buzz, that's why I say if it's got something that's going to actually adversely work on you now at the moment, then you've got to sing another tune. Then you've got to decide if you want to actually go down a very painful road or if you are going to navigate not doing it. Then I think there's over enough reason to pull the plug on it. I just, yeah. I just like remember the old days. There wasn't such a big problem with it until all of a sudden the new world became the new world. Um, the more we can find. I'm watching a program at the moment, and people said to me, "Oh, watch this," and it's still a little bit shabby for me. I don't know if any of you guys been watched or has anyone actually watched or seen a program called The Boys. And I watched the first episode, I watched the second episode, and I was like, "Bleh." And no, 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 you've got to watch this. Keep watching it. It's like Game of Thrones. You're going to take a while to get into it. So I've watched two or three more episodes, and I don't know, very, very sort of controversial type of thing, bringing in a whole lot of stuff. And I'm just wondering if this is what ticks everybody's apple and everyone's pip, because I take a look at the world these days and there's so much. We can carry on so normally. If we could take every single cell phone and throw it into the sea, we could take the internet and just sham it. It would be fantastic. I mean, before internet days, I played games on PC with my CD-ROM. There was a disc. Before we even had CDs, we had 5 or 6 of these little floppy disks, or little stiffy disks, as we call them, because the floppies are the big ones that could bend. And then they got stiffy disks. And you could buy those, and then you'd pop them in, and you'd have the game, and then you'd be able to play the game. So I'd still be able to do computer gaming. I don't need the internet for that. I don't need all the social media that's going on consistently all the time. It's an absolute sham for school, for instance. I need to be talking to the parents consistently. It's an absolute ludicrous situation. You're almost more of a public relations officer more than what you're a teacher. But anyway, so be it. So we go on. But yeah. If we could throw a couple of these technologies I saw on the news this afternoon, for you this morning. For me, it was the afternoon. I was looking at the morning, and they were talking about the AI and the problems AI is causing, and AI should pick up this and pick up that. And I'm going, you know what? It shouldn't even be occurring in the first place. We put out false videos on this and false, and that's how plastic the world's going. How my pups are just great. They got a new bed the other day. Was it Thursday or Friday? It's like a tent. I don't know if I've got a picture of it yet to be able to show you. It's like this little tent thing or whatever. They think they're the bee's knees. They living in this, because of course they're just crapping from the cold, obviously. They are not used to it in their whole lives. I mean, at least I've had cold in my life. They have in their whole lives never had cold. They think the end of the world has come because everything has suddenly just gone below 20 degrees. But I'll see. I might have a picture or two of them. See if I can link it up here. See what I mean? Shouldn't be able to do this. This is just absolutely nonsense. We shouldn't be able to just link devices like this. I worked well without cell phones. Now it's WhatsApp, it's Telegram, it's WeChat, it's Ding Talk. Literally, there's a thing called Ding Talk. I have about 15 channels that I have to belong to. It is stupid. And then I get so mixed up with these mouse as well, because at work I'm using the Mac. So when you scroll up, you go down. When you scroll down, you go up. Then I get onto the Windows side. Now when I scroll up, I go down. When I scroll down, when I scroll up, I go down. When I go down, I scroll up. And then I get on the Windows one. When you scroll down, you go down. When you scroll up, you scroll up. It's an absolute ridiculous thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not talking very much today. I haven't had. There we go. I can show you their new little bed. Let's see there if I can get that. There's the pup's new bed. There they are. In their new warm bed, because of course their little bums are too sensitive to actually touch a tile floor in this cold. So yeah, we bought them a new tent-like bed with fluffy pillow at the bottom. Oh my goodness me, Nick. Mixit is something that I'm proud to say that I have not touched. I never chatted on Mixit. I never did Mixit. It was a vile little thing, that Mixit. That was the start of all evil social media. People were Mixiting like you would not believe. Jeez. Now you're talking, and you know what the strange thing is? It's new, but it's old. It's new, but it's old. How old is Mixit? How old are cell phones? Cell phones came out around about, I think I got my first cell phone around about 95. It's nearly 30 years ago. I'm like, it's about 5 years ago that I got my cell phone. No, it's not. It's about 30 years ago that I got my first cell phone. That's ridiculous. Yeah, no, Buzz, they are as warm as two little fluffy rats in there. That's what. They didn't even have jerseys on. Now they're walking around with jerseys and baby grows and goodness knows what. Mix it moolah. Were they still open, Cam? I thought those things closed down a long time ago. What's it? Mix it moolah. Mix it was for free, wasn't it? I thought everyone was like, Mix it's free. This is what we do for free. And yeah, no, I don't do the mixing thing anymore. Social media, everybody says, yeah, first phone was a brick. I remember I had an Orbital, was it a 1020 or something like that? 2010, I can't remember. It was one of these long phones. Until you clip it on your belt, and as you walked around the street, sort of like Jack Sparks dragging behind you with this thing over there. Cam 2016. Geez, I didn't even think they stayed open that long. Moolah was for chat rooms. I'm assuming we're talking money. I'm not that old that I know that moolah was money. I know my sister-in-law used to be on Mix It a lot. Mixing with so and mix it with so and so, and I'm like, no, I don't have the time. I get grumpy when I've actually got to converse on social media these days. Never mind, you have to sit and mix it with somebody. If you want to speak to me, pick up the phone me, and talk to me. I'm always there to talk to. If you don't have anything to say to me, don't send me a message. It's okay. I'm not angry with you. That's my bottom line. You had to buy cash to buy moolah. And then did it cost you moolah to be able to mix it? I don't know. I never used Mix It. It's like I am proudly TikTokless as well. I've never loaded TikTok on my phone. I've never used TikTok. I've never utilized TikTok. And I seem to be getting along just fine without TikTok. So, yeah. Nick, first cell phone I had was a blue Alcatel, could work with pen light batteries. Good grief, remember those ones. Listen, the first phone I had was Zouave. It could store 20 numbers in its memory bank. These days, you've got to talk about the days you could remove batteries from the cell phones. They don't come with removable batteries anymore, because that's your quickest reboot. My phone's frozen. Remove the battery. Now you can't remove the battery anymore. Motorola was one of the most popular ones. Alcatel One Touch Easy, Motorola. I had one of my favorite ones. I think it was Motorola 6600. Not a Motorola, Nokia. And I'm still miffed at the fact that it was lost. No, not 6600. Was it a 6610 then? It didn't have the up and down buttons on the side, because those are the very popular Nokias. And then on the side, they had the little up and down buttons things. Sorry, the missus just sent some updates on the dogs and their new house. Take a look at this. This is the life you want, guys. This is the life you want. In your jersey, in your house. Yeah, not that one. Other way. Where's the other one? Oh, she sent both of those. Yeah, that is their current situation at the moment. Where was I? No, it's not a 6610. Was it a 6300? No, it wasn't a 66. Was it a 6100? My favorite phone of all time was my was it a Siemens T10? These are Nokia 6100s. 6110. There it is. See if I can get that one up. My most favorite phone of all times was my little Nokia 6110. Check this out. That was my favoritist phone ever. That one, it was taken away from me in a really bad way. You see, these are the ones I'm talking about down here, which were the other little Nokias, but they had the sort of like the up and down knobs on the side. This one had the one in the middle, and it had this beautiful color on it. This was my like, really, this was my nicest of phones. 6110. These were the, I think, 5110s. And then I enjoyed, let me not do all my searching, just now all my sins come up here. Ericsson T. No. Let me just remove that there first. Was it a T21 or a T10? T28. See if I can get that little picture up there. Now that was my funkiest phone that I've ever had. Was that one over there, the Ericsson T28. That's like just a dinky toy on your hip. and then you were mod. With all of these things, you were with it. You were mod. These days, phones have got bigger and more smarter. I mean, now you surf the internet. Now you watch movies. You watch Netflix. Everything to that effect. You do everything. Your phone rules your life. I hate it. I throw my phone down on the side there. Yeah, there we go. Nick remembers the 6110. Love that. The T10 was similar to the T28 or what, except that the T10, you had to pull the flip down yourself. The T28 had a button on the side, and you just like press that button and the little thing flipped down. You're like, yeah, Andre. That was absolutely excellent. T28S, that was it. Loved that phone. But yeah, we're the good old days where those were top of the range. or your phone, the smaller your phone was, the better it was, the easier it was. Uh, these days, phones aren't small anymore; they're big. Uh, they went widely into Android. On this side of the world, Android just doesn't cut it for you. I have a beautiful, beautiful Android phone. At the moment, I have the Samsung S22 Ultra, and stunning, stunning phone to have everything on. And then you get to China, and China's like, we don't do Android yet, bro. Yeah. What's Nick say? It had protection pockets to protect the tiles. 72 Cameron says 7210. I also had shot the sides out. Let's check that 7210i quickly. What was it? Nokia. Let's check Cam's religion there. There we go, Cam. There's your baby. 7210. Sort of like little bubbles and like a sort of a Star Trek form. Is that the wrong phone? Well, it says 7210 on it. I think they had many covers though. He has a 7210 with a different cover on it. But it also had that sort of like roundish. But they say 7210 on there. 7110. Okay, just hang on. Let's go back again. We're looking for a 7110. I don't know. I don't have much to chat about this evening, so I'm looking at phones. Sorry, guys. I hope it's not too. That the one you're talking about, Cam? The slide down. There we go. Yeah, that was also a cool sucker. Buzz, mum seems to be okay. Everything pertaining. I'm going to give her a call now as soon as we're finished over here. She had her 90th birthday on Tuesday. So she's officially 90. So, yeah, so hopefully we can get through to South Africa sometime soon to actually still get to see her. But yeah, she's under the circumstances doing okay. Now, there was another big Nokia that I had, which is cool. I was never into the gaming phone. I know there was a gaming phone that flipped out that you could use for gaming. I've never been into gaming on phones. I take a look at people these days, and they are gaming mad on phone, and I'm like, how can you game on something the size of a postage stamp? It's just like ridiculous. And then I know the Sony's ended up with the music, and it's also something of kids these age that I just don't get used to, is everyone walks around with earphones stuck in their ears, and it's just like, why when you can get to hear the world around you, do you want to seclude yourself? If you want to feel like what it's like to walk around and be deaf, walk around China, because you can't hear anything that is actually in the English language. So it's like walking around as a deaf person, because nothing around you makes sense. All you have are sounds. So it's possibly not sound deaf, but absolutely tone deaf. You walk around and it's just there's nothing that actually works to it. Yeah, thank you very much. I shall tell her this evening when I speak to her to say happy birthday again. Yeah, she's a little confused though. I think she thinks it's my birthday today, and it wasn't. It's not. Just in case anyone thought of sending any checks, it's not. You can still send money via MoneyGram and checks and stuff like that. But yeah, as I say, if you want to go around and feel what it's feel like to be a deaf person in a deaf world, walk around China. There is very little English up on anything compared to Cambodia. As I said, Cambodia used to have English and Khmer. Khmer just had to be on top, and then your English at the bottom. But most of the places had an English name, had English descriptions, had English writing on it, etc., etc. At the moment, it is even a task for me to try and go through messages on social media at school and get the messages that are going through there, because everything is just Chinese. And it's just like, well, use the translator. And I'm like, why don't you just send it in the language that I understand in the first place? But yeah, we're sort of outnumbered there. So it's probably like a able-heard person living in the Braille world, and you can't understand Braille because you just get these Braille running around you all the time. But yeah, kids nowadays call it quiet walking, when you go for a walk without music in their ears. I don't know. I don't see kids these days, even adults these days. I don't see. When you look at someone, they've got things stuck in their ears, and I don't know. I never grew up in that world of having things stuck in your ears all the time. I mean, yeah, we had a Walkman at that stage where you put a cassette tape in, but no one walked around with it like that. These days, it's normal. When you buy your phone, you get headphones with it because you shove them in your ears and you walk around. And they used to have cables to them. Now these days, it's so cheap and easy to have Bluetooth headphones that you don't even see them. So you can actually walk up to someone and try and speak to them or try and ask them something, and they're ignoring you. You have no idea why. You think they're absolutely rude, and then you take a look and you see these like little sticks hanging out their ears, and then you realize, you know what? It's just one of these normal, everyday antisocial people. I don't know why people are so antisocial these days, because we never used to be like that. Now I know the more I go the later I go back in time, but I fondly remember the days when you weren't pushed by technology the way you are pushed today. I mean, you just take a look at half the jobs that are giving people heart attacks were actually very, very calm, placid, capable, competent positions in the past. And these days, they are low paying, fast paced, heart attack giving jobs because people are able to pile so much more on. And then you take a look at the antisocial that is running these days. You walk into a restaurant, there's four people at a table, and every one of them's on their phone. I don't know why they actually walked into the restaurant in the first place. You get onto the metro, the tube, the railway trains, everything like that. You think it's the kids, the old people, the kids, the middle aged, the young, whatever, they're all on their phones. They're just staring at one screen. What's worse is some people who don't have earphones are busy playing their phones at top volume as well, in the middle of everybody. So it's like, really? Unfortunately, I still don't understand that either. So, yeah. And we live in an area where is more, I should say, oldish. I won't say old because our apartment and everything's pretty new and high tech and things like that. But in an area more outskirt area to the main city, so we don't have all the cool places, the fast food places. You got more like vegetable places, little supermarket type of places, more traditional food places like dumplings and funny things and stuff like that. But if you go towards the center city, about half an hour towards the city again, you go to a place called the EFC, which is the Euro American Finance Center. And there you can't walk a block without falling over a Starbucks, McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC. everything's just all over the place. So I think we're a little primitive out here, which is also a little frustrating for me in a sense. But yeah, it hasn't stopped people from putting earphones in their ears. Still makes me wonder what happened. And then obviously with the lockdowns and pandemic and everything like that, it just I think people say it made people antisocial or took socialism away. I don't know if it took it away as much as what it condoned it in the end. It just made it acceptable. Because I think people were antisocial before then already, and it was just like trying to be mannered by not going ahead the way they did. And now, after a while, and the lockdown and everything like that, it just became acceptable and condoned, and they never came out of it. And people go, you know what? Well, it was the lockdown that caused that. No, no, it wasn't. It was you that caused that, and you just haven't come out of it again. I used to have friends. No, no, you didn't, and you still don't. It's just now you've got an excuse not to have them. Yeah, yeah. Lockdowns made many people realize they didn't need each other. They also made many people realize that they were okay doing what they were doing because people didn't want to be social anyway. So yeah, sadly enough, I miss South Africa's social life. And it's not the going out life because between Cambodia and I suppose you could say here as well, I don't really get the chance to go out very much over here. I live a more secluded life over here, but I suppose I need to give it time. But Cambodia, definitely we could go out all the time. But what I missed in South Africa was the people, the friends, the people to go out with, the people to. When I say go out with, I'll go to your house for a cup of coffee, and that's okay. You know what? We didn't have to eat, we didn't have to braai, we didn't have to have lunch all the time. I could come to your place for a cup of coffee. I could say, come around and have a drink, and I'd come around and have a drink. I'd come around and take a look at what your pool was looking like at the moment, or if you put a new plant in your backyard, etc., etc. I didn't need to go and have lunch. It suddenly became a socially accepted thing that you have to come around to have something to eat. We have to braai. Now, braai is very, very nice, or we have to get something to eat, or we've got to go out to eat, or we've got to go out somewhere, whatever. To socialize, you suddenly needed a third party activity to actually allow for socializing. When did that come in to the mix is my question. When did having a third party activity justify socializing? And obviously, people just got tired of it along the way, especially your young people, and they just started shoving things in their ears and cut themselves off totally. So, you know what? If they wanted to chat to somebody, it would be on social media. If they wanted to see somebody, they'd FaceTime or WeChat or WhatsApp chat or something like that, which is even not even a thing anymore these days. It is. It used to be. I mean, remember when you used to watch that those films about the future, and you used to watch and they'd pull something out and they'd look at each other. We could do that a long time ago. We just don't want to see each other anymore. Where are the days when we didn't need third party activities to actually enjoy each other's company? When we could go over to your house and say, I'm coming for a cup of coffee, and I had a cup of coffee. Or I could stop at your gate and say, how are your dogs doing? Or did you get that tree pulled out? Or did you get that tree cut down? Or you stopped in my gate and said, you know what, have you got some coffee? And we didn't have to say, let's organize lunch, let's organize pizza and supper, let's organize a braai, let's go out to this restaurant, we've got to go and see this show, we've got to go out and do that. How many times these days do people just socialize by saying hello? Or do they need a third party? I don't know. What's your social life like? You tell me. But I'd like to know, do you need to have a third party social life? Can I borrow a cup of sugar? Bad boys. Yeah. Where are those days where you could go and just borrow a cup of sugar and a cup of tea later you'd be leaving? You made friends with your neighbor. These days, I think you're pretty shocked if somebody knows their neighbor. We live in a huge complex. We know a few people in the complex, but that's because they teach with us. And honestly, some of them I wouldn't I wouldn't recognize them if I walked past them in the complex or at school. And yeah, there's one or two people, but on my floor, there's 4 units on my floor. I do not know a single person in there. Not that I'm expected to, because none of them could communicate with me. But in South Africa, in Alberton, the little house I stayed in Alberton, the people next door to us, yeah, we sort of got to know them fairly okay. We always got to know someone somehow along the line. I miss South Africa for probably the last social outpost that there possibly could be. I know that the new age and the new wave and the anti-social has taken over there. I don't socialize. I don't need a third party activity. Well, this is why people don't socialize anymore, because you always figure you've got to wait for this lunchtime. You've got to wait for this going out. You've got to wait for the braai. You've got to wait for the lunch. You've got to wait for some activity to happen to be able to justify socializing. A cup of tea just isn't acceptable anymore. Why? That's my question. Do you have the same issues in your life, or am I just full of issues in mine? I don't think people trust anyone enough to ask for sugar anymore. That's also true. You're also afraid of embarrassing your neighbor when he turns around and says, "No, I can't afford sugar this month. We were drinking without sugar in our tea." Something that I've been taking a sudden change to. I mean, I used to love my coffee and that, and now I suddenly like tea. Let's say my parents told me that when they started cooking food, I had to leave. Yeah, because when you're going to get people over. No, I don't know. Is it a funny thing that I've picked up these days, or is it something that is normal to everybody else? It's nice to have a meal together. I'm not saying don't. For me, it's a stage of life. I do enjoy solitude more the older I get. I don't know, Nick. Sadly, you have a strain of truth in that statement, Nick. Whereas I needed to be around people a lot. I was a very social person. I loved going out. And I sometimes think maybe I just long for those years in my life. I mean, I've had to sort of like make sudden discoveries in my life that I'm not going to be able to do this when I grow up anymore, because I'm all grown up. But I must agree that sometimes I'm happier on the couch at home with my wife and my pups. And it doesn't matter, because everyone's like, "Oh, are you getting to go out where you are? Are you not lonely?" And I'm like, no, I have a TV box that plays every single movie and series that I can possibly want. And I get tired of it. I have so much work that I don't get to watch my TV box. I mean, I was honestly even at one stage this week thinking, you know what, should I just pull the plug on Pepper's Echo? Because sometimes I think it's a task for people just to log in and listen to me whine a bit as well. But yeah, Nick, you've got a point that sometimes as you go older, you don't need it anymore. But I just take a look at these days when you do. And that's what I missed about South Africa is I had the type of friends that didn't need lunch, that didn't need supper, that didn't need an activity. You know, are we going to see each other today? Yes. Then the question is, what are we going to do? Wouldn't seeing each other just be good enough? I think that's why you eventually switch yourself off all the activities. And sometimes solitude is quite good because you suddenly don't have that additional responsibility. Cameron says, Nick, yes, people have hurt others that would rather face solitude. I don't think sometimes it's hurting. Yeah, sometimes you do get hurt. I'm not denying that. But as I say, I think you just don't want the issues. I think you just don't want all of that responsibility of having to think. It's bad enough Having my wife look at me and going, "What do you want for supper?" I just want to poof myself right there, because I have enough decisions in life without having to decide what I want for supper. Make my mind up for me. I'm kidding, honey, if you're watching, but yeah. But yes, some people have hurt people, which means that they now suddenly generalize and don't want to make themselves vulnerable to other people again in the same situation, which is sad, but wrong, but true. Um, I just find that people are just cutting off. These days, people are growing up with earphones in their ears, antisocial, and it's also bad manners. People are bad manners. I mean, I was listening to Radio Jacaranda the other evening, the other day, when I was still in Cambodia, so it was quite a while ago. And I got to hear these people talking about, is it a problem if you're sitting in a restaurant and now you can eat with your cap on? Now, I don't know if it's a problem to anybody, but yeah, it's called manners. Take your cap off if you're going to be in a group of people and you're going to be eating in a restaurant or somewhere pretty formal, and you got to sit with this freaking cap on your head. And somebody said, "Well, you know what? It used to be old and conservative, and it's gone out the window now." And I thought to myself, well, that's probably exactly what's happened with please, thank you, and excuse me, and I'm sorry. That also is probably old conservativeness that's gone out the window now. You want a pancake for supper? Jedi mind trick. These are not the crumpets you're looking for. No, so I don't know. I find life is quieter in the sense of we don't get out much, although we could probably afford to do it a little bit more than what we used to, but we can't because we're bogged down with work and we don't have the social life or the social circle that we used to be in. So when you can, you can't, and when you can't, you can. So what's that saying? You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Sorry, that's a fluke word. Pancake. So I don't know, guys, but is the world itself become antisocial due to the fact of responsibility of being social? Most people. That's also true. Is possibly having to carry a conversation with people these days is also probably a change. Is it difficult to carry a conversation with people? Um, do we always have to have grown-up conversations? Is my question. Maybe you feel you need grown-up conversation, but mine is: do we have to have grown-up conversation all the time? Sometimes talking about a TV program is quite good. That's why I like talking about them on here. Somebody go watch The Boys and tell me if you like it or not, and if it's controversial. If you've seen it, it's about these superheroes that live in society and they have their own sort of like clique or corporate business that they belong to, and they're in society, and how they're actually narcissist freaks more than what they are the superhero people. But yeah, not the Superman you would think usually is, but and the things behind the scenes there and that. But yeah, so look at it this way, look at it that way, see what's happening. It's because some people are so shallow. No one wants to deep, meaningful conversations. That's what I do miss with my friend. We used to sit around a braai fire in the evening. Now, I know I said you don't have to have a braai or anything to that effect, but sometimes when we just decided to put a piece of sausage on the grid or something to that effect, what was more important is actually having that fire going for the atmosphere and sitting there in the evening and talking. And we were often up at on a rally, even if it was just at home, but if we were in motorbike rallies or something to that effect, we would end up just sitting there talking. And sometimes, yeah, you would be in the deepest of things. I think people are embarrassed to go deep these days with each other because it shows off your emotional or vulnerable side or whatever. But yeah, everyone would be crashing, and like 2 o'clock in the morning, we'd be sitting around that fire and just having this like great deep conversation. Those are nice, but that's South Africans. Don't South Africans do that anymore? Tell me they do, because that's the things I do miss from there. That's why I said I could probably put up with the load shedding. I could probably put up with a whole lot of other crap in the process if I just had a good enough job that I could go month to month without having to wonder if I'm actually going to make it through this month and who's going to look for my ass next because I can't pay a bill. Really, really concerning in that sense. But it's just something to think about is how our social interaction between people have been damaged, been thrown aside, or the responsibility of it is put up. What am I drinking? As I said, nothing here has an English name on it. It's actually Coke Zero. One little can like that goes very well with a double tot or Richelieu brandy. Something that I have been able to get here and does have English written on it. Anyhow, my hour is up. Your ears can now stop bleeding for a while. Thank you very, very much for joining me. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure. I'm sorry if I've whined your ears to pieces. But yeah, hopefully I have something a little bit more happier on the other side. That's a waifu. What the hell is a waifu? Is that a waifu? What does it say waifu? I don't know. But yeah, it's been a good chat. I'm sorry, as I said, if it has not been the most exasperating chat or anything to that effect, but I sometimes just go groveling up the wrong road. I like to converse as long as it's intelligent, but I must add sometimes small talk can open a door or two. Yeah, it is, but sometimes people can just be a little bit, the Afrikaans word is knaand. I agree there. But otherwise, yeah, do carry an intelligent conversation. Yeah, what's supposed to say we don't socialize anymore due to not being able to afford to do it. But that's where I say a lot of things have suddenly got responsibilities stuck onto it. That, you know what? It suddenly has a price. Ask the Chinese about waifu. I can't even ask them directions, Cameron. How the hell am I going to ask them about waifu? Imaginary girlfriend. Well, thank goodness I'm not asking about imaginary girlfriend. I have a wife, and she's far from imaginary. And I can speak to her. Yeah, I think socializing has crawled into the point of costing money. But yes, sometimes I think people have made peace with their own company. But I do question the fact where I do question the fact where people have drawn it to being rude. Like, as I said, the youngsters these days, it has become rude. But yeah, thank you very, very much for listening, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry for this week has not been the most exciting and more of a dreary one, right from Thrones all the way down to the tube of being antisocial. But yeah, hopefully we do find a little bit of life at the end of the tunnel as we go along. Don't forget to always keep smiling. Keep your social circles going, even though it sometimes does seem better to be on your own. It's always nice to have a coffee and a smile with a buddy who's prepared to stand next to you and have a chuckle at the joke that you thought you'd forgotten about. Take care, be good, and if you can't be good, remember, always be kind. Cheers, guys.